be later or earlier where you are. This is the Maggie Bates Art channel, and I am going to draw on my Infinite Zoom program today. I have a drawing that I've been working on for a long time that is the sort of the history of fashion, and it's very much in my own style. It is for fun, it's casual, and it takes a while for YouTube to get my stream out there to the masses. And so the beginning of this, you might if you catch this on the replay, you might want to fast forward a couple minutes, because I just sort of talk about my channel to begin with, but hang around if you haven't visited my channel. I work with mainly digital art right now. I have done a history of a lot of different materials in art. I've sculpted, painted, and I have done a lot of glass work. Right now, my daytime job is very demanding. And so I like my artwork to be relaxing, portable. I don't want to create messes for myself that I have to clean up. So digital works great for me at this phase of my life. And so I focus on it. And I've just learned so much just by having fun doing this, that I've decided to share what I'm learning as I go, and hopefully we'll see some folks roll on here in a minute. YouTube takes a while to get to get up the stream up there, and I'm a small channel, so it looks like we finally have a little bit of movement from YouTube. So thank you so much, YouTube. I'm going to get started here in a minute. And when I switch my camera over, you'll see my view out my window, which is awesome. I live in Bellingham, Washington, and I have just a little tiny condo that I live in, and I have a great time. I'm going to switch my view. You're going to see, I'm going to switch the camera view so that you can watch me draw. And when I do, you're going to look out my window. Hi, nothing is here. Hello. Glad that you've joined me, and I'm just going to go and switch this camera and start drawing. And so if you just joined me, the goal today is to work on an infinite zoom drawing, and I want to get it so that you can see what's happening here. I have to move my camera around. I have to kind of work things out here when I switch views. So, why do you feel sad? Because of where I live? Oh, I just started. Takes a little while. It takes a little while for people to show up, and they are showing up. But thank you for your kindness. So I'm working live on this digital drawing. The program is Infinite Zoom. And I'm going to show you just what I've done so far. So this is the history of fashion, and I've gone all the way back to the Neolithic period here. I've got a couple wolves because at some point the first animals we ever domesticated basically were dogs, I believe, or wolves rather, and they were part of that period. And so I'm going to go over what all these periods are. This is the Bronze Age, and therefore there's a lot of bronze on this person's jewelry. But I'll tell you a little bit later about each of these. These drawings are not finished. Everything is in process. I thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. And I will check the comments every once in a while. So this is the Egyptian age, and she is holding a little crystal ball, which looks forward to the Grecian era. And then we're going to go into this symbolic hawk And we're going to get to the Celtic age. This is sort of a combination of Nordic and Celtic, actually, and which there are pretty close ties between those two cultures. And then we're going to move on to the a Mayan cultural piece, um, across the globe in South America. And then the last one that I've developed, just roughly developed, and I used for the cover of this, it probably is what might have drawn you in, is this Tang Dynasty person. And women rode horses in the Tang Dynasty, and that fascinated me. They didn't ride side saddle, they were very logical about how they rode their horses. And so I'm going to go to my bookmarks here and just show you my notes. So where do I have them? Mayan dignitary, global view, Minoan, start with Neolithic, the timeline list. There we go. And I'm crossing these out as I finish them. But I started with a Neolithic woman, then I went to a Bronze Age, an Egyptian woman, and then the Greek classical and Freya, the Norse goddess, but it also looks very Celtic in its style. And then I moved, I'm going to do the Madonna down here. I was going to do the Madonna first century, but I did these other things that come before, just before the Madonna. And then I'm going to move into the Renaissance woman, an Elizabethan, an African queen, Amina, and Amal Malinzins. There's a Spanish one here I'm going to do. I'm not pronouncing that right. And I also want to add in a Mexican Madonna, and I want to add in a sari from the Gandhara region in the first century. So I've got a lot of drawings I'm still going to be doing. So I'm going to go back to my start with Neolithic and just move in from there, and then I'm going to start drawing. So we'll just zoom in here, past the Minoan, past the Egyptian and the Greek and the Norse Celtic combination, to the Mayan, to the Tang Dynasty. So here we are, and I'm going to start drawing. I'll show you a little bit of the techniques that I'm going to use. I've worked most of this drawing out as far as the outlines go. I'm going to change this because this nose band is too low, and usually the mouth area sits up higher. So I'm going to fix that. Let me hit the back button there. And then I am going to color and pattern this drawing. And then if I get time, I'll work on the water and the leaves. And I'll just show you, I still use some of my I have a lot of art books around my house that I bought before we had portable computers to take with us when we were drawing out and about in the world, when we wanted references, right? So a lot of times when you're drawing, you'll look at, especially if you're an illustrator, you'll look at the styles of the past and how things were put together and patterning. And so I have quite a collection of little books that were portable, that I could carry with me when I was just out sketching. And so I'm using that one here. And that one, actually, if you look close, I don't want to get this out of focus. You see the white lines on her hair? That I changed my drawing based on that little detail that I found in here. I'm like, oh, that's how I'm going to do drawing, how I'm going to detail out the hair, because it's very different than the style I normally would have done. I would have done it more with swoops and, maybe a ringlet here and there. But that wouldn't have been appropriate to this culture. So I went ahead and changed my technique based on that. So I'm going to fix the horse's mouth and then I'm going to start coloring. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Global Carrier Quest. Amazing. Oh, thank you. It's very kind of you to say that. And so here, I showed you the bookmarks. Another helpful thing to understand is where your layers are. And so the horse black and white is on this layer, and so that's where I want to go to work. If I were to be on this layer and try to work with an eraser and erase this, it wouldn't erase anything. So I have to be on the layer if I want to erase something. So now you can see I'm erasing. And I'm basically, I think I'm just going to erase all of this. I just see a comment showing up there. Yes, I did draw that. And Global Career Quest. Could you show me this book again? Because I think in my childhood I had this kind of images book. Oh, ukiyo-e. I know I'm probably saying that wrong. The book, reference book that I'm using just for style is ukiyo-e. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful work. So, so we're going to go back here, and has everybody that's on, if you haven't seen me do the whole Zoom thing, after I get the mouth fixed, I'll do that one more time just so that people can see what the power of this program. Thank you for complimenting my artistry. I appreciate that. I think that I want to make sure people know the reason I come on here is I'm not trying to show off like what a great artist I am. I'm 64 years old. I don't need to do that. What I do want to do is I want people to be empowered and inspired to do this kind of drawing themselves. And so I use pretty accessible programs that pretty much anybody can download on their phone or their iPad or their laptop, their computer. If you can draw with a stylus, if you can get a tool, whatever device you have, whether it's a iPad or a phone or a computer, if you can draw with a stylus, you will have so much fun working with these programs. Okay, so I'm going to erase a little bit more here. And let's see here. Let's finish drawing back in some of these lines here. Whoa, what happened there? Just checking the comments. Well, Steve, I hope that you don't give up on art and you say you're good at it. So yay. That's wonderful that you feel that way about your own artwork. That's the way everybody should feel. And it takes practice. It's doesn't come naturally to everybody, but if you at all think that you want to draw, that's all it takes. You don't have to have a history of being the best drawing person in your family or in your classroom or anything like that. It's not about that. It's about, do you enjoy it? Is it give you pleasure? Is it fun? is it a good way to spend your time compared to other choices you could make? That's what it's all about, in my opinion. So I'm going to make another line around here. And then I got to use my eraser to clean up inside. Oh, I think I'm going to see if I can get my chat GPT to tell me. Sometimes if this is too loud, I might have to turn it down. Can you hear me, chat GPT? I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey there, how's it going? What's on your mind today?
Okay. I want to ask you some questions about the Tang Dynasty. Um, Tell me when the Tang Dynasty happened, first of all.
The Tang Dynasty was from the early 7th century to the early 10th century, roughly from 618 to 907 AD. It was a really vibrant period in Chinese history, known for its cultural flourishing and a lot of advancements in art and technology. Let me know if you want to dive into anything specific about it.
Yeah, can you tell me about the frequency of women riding horses in that time period and that part? Oh, also, what part of the world is this?
The Tang Dynasty was in China, and during that time, women actually had a relatively higher status compared to some other periods in Chinese history. It wasn't unusual for women, especially those from noble or elite backgrounds, to ride horses. Horseback riding was actually a popular pastime, and you can even find art and poetry from that era depicting women riding horses. So it was definitely a part of the culture.
Okay, so that's what I wanted. So I see I have a question. As an artist, what do you think of that? Upcoming generation is can be able to choose as a career, because I think you know that nowadays AI can do it very much first. So what's your thoughts on it? I do have some thoughts on that, and that's an excellent question. Um, I honestly feel that creating art, if you actually dive in and start creating art and you enjoy it and you have a good time, or you can express something, let's say it's, maybe you need to express something that's not pleasant. That's fine. Um, I'm not saying that all art should be lighthearted like mine, but it's a human being doing an expression, and they're doing it through art. And that is going to be only more valuable as we move into the age of AI. Now, if you want to talk about um, art that is, you know, very commercial, and somebody needs a background for a billboard or something, and it's might be easier to go to AI and say, please give me a treed background for my billboard, and boom, in 3 seconds you've got a treed background. I'm not saying that we'll be able to compete with that. We're never going to be able to produce art that quickly, but the quality of that art is not always great. Sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's terrible. I've played around with AI because I want to know, what am I up against and what is this really doing? And it it's a good tool. I use it for inspiration personally. Um, when I'm getting ready to do a drawing, sometimes I'll go on there and just start asking it questions about how, or well, I won't, I'll ask chat GPT questions, but as far as actual drawing, I go on to Midjourney and I put input. I pay a very low subscription, like $10 a month, and I can do ideation with Midjourney, basically brainstorming with an AI art maker. And I didn't actually use it for any of these drawings. I can show you on another program, this is basically the infinite zoom, in case you hadn't seen it. This is what this program does. It's quite amazing. But I did a YouTube and a drawing about Christmas time. So last fall, winter. And I'm just going to go out of this and then show you that really quick. It was over here in Fresco. Let me go here and see if I can find it. Your files. It's quite a while ago. And it was here's the cover of what I did. And this one shows this is the AI version that was conjured up by AI, and then this is my drawing. And I honestly feel like it changed how I drew faces. I'd never drawn a face quite like this before. And so it improved that for me. Um, it, it's kind of like having a model in the room that you can draw. I feel like the crown was a little bit confusing. And so I'm like, oh, I can actually improve that crown. And then I think that my version of the background with the snow and the trees, even though it's not as kind of AI/realistic, I think that it looks really good. Um, and so I use it to make my art better. If I have an idea, sometimes I'll throw it into AI and just see what it comes up with. And then I always improve upon it. And I don't use the AI images to publish as my own. I don't think that that is really where I want to go with my art. I want to create art because it's fun to create art. So let's go back to creating some art. So this is the infinite zoom, and I'm going to go in here and finish working on the drawing of the horseback rider in the Tang Dynasty. I see another comment, lots of different AI generated images, not too much realistic and not detailed background. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're talking about in general or my image, but AI gets it wrong all the time. When I use Midjourney, it's hilarious. When I ask it to draw a human, like if I were to say, draw a girl in a flower garden, there might be a girl in a flower garden, or there might be a girl with a flower garden on her head, which is not what I asked for. Or there might be a girl and she's got 3 fingers instead of 5, or she's got 10 fingers instead of 5 because she's holding a flower and it's up close, and it's like, oh, well, AI got the finger count wrong. So there's a lot that AI still gets wrong to this day, and it's been around drawing images for quite a few years now. So, okay, so what I want to do next, I think I've got that pretty well fixed. Oh, and this is my plan, is to go in here and do the sari drawing, the Gandhara region. And that'll be a woman with a sari. Because the theme is fashion. So I do try and stick to my theme. Just fix that little line right there. The one thing I will say about this program is it's very primitive when it comes to drawing. There are no bucket fills. On this iPad, it won't do. It claims that it's got a pressure sensitivity, but it does not. It's not supported on this device. So if you work on a different device, maybe an Android or a computer, you might find that it is supported. So I'm going to erase that. Somehow I dropped a little bit of paint there. And I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start adding pattern to this clothing. And so I'm going to go up to, I think I want to do it up here on this layer. This is where the layer, you can't see what's on there, but the white hair marks are on that layer. And when I start working on it with a color, you should, whoops, cancel, didn't mean to do that. You should be able to see, it here. So I think we'll go with a purple, and I think what I'm going to do is just do some stars with dots. Those are a little too close. Make this one a little bit bigger. And then I'm just going to use the eraser to clean up along that black line so it looks like it's in the fabric and not on the black line. I see another question. If you wanted to do an infinite images, is there any kind of option? I mean, how can I get those images? Oh, mine? I haven't done that yet, but and the reason I haven't done it is because I want to create a coloring book this way. So what I would say to you, Global Career Quest, is please follow me. Because I didn't know what I was doing when I started this program, and this is one of my earlier drawings. But what I want to do is I want to create a coloring book using infinite zoom. And so that I'm just going to do the black lines and then you get to color it in. And that actually will go pretty fast for me. On this one, I'm actually coloring it in. And the reason that I probably won't share this one is because the layers are a little confusing. Like what's happening with these layers is a little bit confusing. And it's because I was in a bit of a learning curve. But what you're asking about, just so other people understand, is you're asking, am I going to share this file so that other people can have access to it, change it, color it, do whatever they want? I'm not going to share this particular file, but it is on my list to create a shareable one that people can then, you just download this program. You could probably get it free for a week, and it's not an expensive program at all. I think it's a one-time fee, and then you can color in the infinite zoom. So that's in the future. Thanks. That's a great question. I really appreciate these questions. It makes it so much more interesting for me. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to start adding some more. Oh, what layer am I on? Right, I'm right where I want to be. So now I'm going to take my eraser, clean that up. just don't like how close I got on those dots. And then again, the eraser. Um, I have a LinkedIn account, but it's mostly on there. It's my day job stuff. I manage a design build. I manage the design department of a design build company, and so I'm Maggie Bates on LinkedIn, and I work for A1 Design Build, and so you might be able to find me there. You won't see much artwork there. I can't. It would. It's you can just find me Maggie Bates on LinkedIn. I could leave it in the comments, but it's unrelated to my art channel, so I hesitate to do that. But you're welcome to find me on your own if you go on LinkedIn. When I retire and I do artwork full time, I will change my LinkedIn. But right now, that's not what I'm doing. So I want to get in here and erase. I live a double life. Thanks. So if you are an aspiring artist and you come on by here, drop it in the comments. I would love to know about that. Go back to thanks for joining me. If you just got here, we're working on an infinite zoom. I am working on a figure from the Tang Dynasty, a woman horseback rider. And infinite zoom, every once in a while I stop and show people who have joined. I'll just finish this patterning and then I'll show you the whole infinite zoom that I'm drawing, which goes out several layers. Yes, I am the design manager at the A1 Design Build firm. So by day, I used to be a designer at that firm, and I designed houses and remodels and additions, and that's mainly what we still do. So I think I want to go in a little bit and make those a little bit smaller. This program, when you zoom in and out, it changes the size of your brush. So it's a nuanced thing that I didn't realize was going on in the beginning, but it's a quick way to change your brush size is just zoom in. Okay, I think I've gone far enough that I almost, let's see here. I can go ahead and start cleaning up the edges, and then I'll do a tour of the whole drawing. Okay, I think that looks better. Interesting here. I've got a different color going on here. I think I want that color. Go to my smaller brush. Oops, I think I'm on the wrong layer too. Hold on. I'm going to go to the correct layer, which is down here, and change that color. What's nice is when you have it layered in a way where the black is on top, you don't have to clean up the edges. It just goes underneath the black. But I didn't plan the detailing that way, so it looks a little bit different. So I think I could add that blue down here too. Hey there, Lillian. Nice to see you. Oh, yeah, maybe global. You could message me with what you have going on LinkedIn. Feel free to message me there. So, I promised people I would do a quick tour for anybody who just joined. Lillian, if you're still here, this is Infinite Zoom, and I'm doing sort of a overview history of fashion. We started in the Tang Dynasty here, or ended in the Tang Dynasty because I'm going to keep going past that. If we go back in time a little bit and across the globe, we have the Mayan culture here, and then we're going to move out to a Nordic slash Celtic style drawing, and then we're going to move farther out to the a Greek pottery style drawing done with typical Greek fashion. And then my favorite is the Egyptian. And I just think the Egyptian is so gorgeous. And the hair in the Egyptian, clearly they were dealing with froze in Egypt. When you start looking at the paintings, they had this kind of detailing in them, and they looked like, no disrespect intended, but it just looked like helmet like, like very big like. And I didn't know for a long time that was, oh, they're actually depicting a very kinky, kind of a thick style of black hair. And then here's the Bronze Age. And this should actually be a bare-breasted woman, but I keep my feed family friendly, so we covered her breasts a little bit. And then all the way out to the Neolithic period, where there were dark-skinned, blue-eyed people living in Europe, basically. And they were quite prevalent at the time, but they did and their genetics are still with us, but it's not as common. So, just give you a quick overview here of the tools before I go back in and draw. I like people to learn that they can do this. So there's 3 brushes here. They're pretty much all the same. If you open up the brush, it's got a line width and a pressure width. You can just set them all so they're at different line widths. It's got an eraser. You can add photos if you want to. I don't, which might be kind of cool for somebody who's doing a presentation and you want to have an interesting way to present your work, your report, your business presentation. You can use Infinite Zoom. This was actually, I believe, this original Infinite Zoom idea was created by a professor because he wanted to have a cool way for his students to keep notes. And then there's the layers, which I think if you've been with me, you've seen me working with them. I've got quite a few layers on this part of the drawing active, and you can turn them on and off, as you can see. And then the eyedropper, which is to get a color, pretty plain and simply. 2 colors. When you tap in here, I love this about it. They have preset palettes. You can make your own palette. Like I did a bronze Freya palette. I've been using either the Fiesta or the basic mix on the Egyptian drawing because that was very colorful time. And then just the back and the forward button here. And then up here is a couple more tools. I'm just super briefly going over this. There's a bookmarks. And so you can name your bookmarks. It comes with 3 origin, which is where I started on this drawing. That's actually a little bit separate from, I started on this and I didn't like it. And so I made a list because I wasn't doing the right order. And so I made a list over here. And then I left myself a little bit of a note, is like, this is where I'm actually starting my infinite zoom for people. And so that was the origin. Then I can go to the last painted, which is, oh, I must have marked the screen because it's taking this as the last painted. I can go to the global view, which is not very helpful. I can go to the Mayan dignitary, the Minoan drawing, the start of my presentation, which is the Neolithic, and the timeline list. Those are the bookmarks I've set. I could set more bookmarks. In fact, let's go in here and I'll set a bookmark for the Bronze Age. So I'm going to add a custom bookmark right here, rename it, and we're going to call it Bronze Age Minoan. I might be spelling that wrong, hopefully not. Rename. And then we'll go ahead and zoom in her eye and we will go to Egypt and we can add a bookmark there. Rename, whoops. Rename. And so on. That's how you do that. Rename. So now I can go to the Bronze Age Minoan, the Mayan dignitary, the Egypt times, Minoan, start at the Neolithic. But it's of course way more fun to just zoom. And then another really cool thing is, let me show you how I make a video on here. So let me go out to my start at Neolithic. Okay, so we're just going to start here. And I am going to ask it to record a video. And I'm going to ask it to record my art. And then I'm going to zoom through it. Allow screen capture and zoom art. Record screen, yes. And so I'm going to zoom in here. And I might pause a little bit so when the video happens, you can see the images for just a minute before I zoom in even more. This one I started coloring yesterday. And then we'll go to the last drawing that I've worked on here. See the little red record button is happening there. So I'm going to recording saved. Done. And hopefully if I go to my gallery now, there it is. It's recorded it, and I'll just hit play and it'll just start zooming in. Isn't that awesome? And I have found that if I want this to be the absolute smoothest, sometimes what I'll do is I will start at the farthest in image and reverse my way out, and then I'll put it in a video processor and I'll flip it so that it goes the direction I want it to go. But there's something about being in the image and zooming out that helps you focus better on what the image is. Where see how I had to move that a little bit. You can avoid that by zooming the other direction, and then you can ask a program like CapCut, or I think CapCut does it, where you can ask it to stabilize your video, and it smooths it out even more. So I'm going to stop playing this and go back to drawing. So this is the program that I'm on. So from infinite zoom started to my eyes, it looks like mind blowing. And what's the tool's name? Yeah, that's so. Unfortunately, this company has changed their name a few times. So I want it to focus right there. Whoops. Stop that. Go back. Um, Zoom Art. Get that in focus. Zoom Art. And then you see that little squiggly um, kind of purple, light blue, pinkish. That's how you find it, is by its logo. Because unfortunately, this program used to have a completely different name, but I think its name was probably too close to another app, and so they probably had to change it. That's my best guess. I don't know that that's true. They used to be called Endless Canvas or Endless Paper. Let's see if I can find some information about the app. Technical information. Home. Let's see here. Getting started. Troubleshooting. File size, image resolution, corruption, unsupported file formats, undo, redo. I'm looking for their name. Zoom Art frequently asked questions. So look for Zoom Art in your app store, but definitely look for that little logo that I showed you, because there's a few different programs out there and not all of them have a good eraser function. This one has a very good eraser function, and that's really important. But try out whatever you find out there. They're very fun. So where was I? I'm going to start coloring again. I think I want to add in, what do I want to add in here? Let's add in some yellows. Let's start adding some sort of gold colors. So let's go to, I like that, because then I can use that other gold as a highlight. And then let's make sure I'm on the right layer. I want to be on the color layer underneath the black and white. And we'll just start filling in right here. Why don't I post this kind of, oh, you retracted your message. Okay, can't read it. Sorry, I'm wiggling when I color, sometimes I wiggle the whole phone stand. Okay, so we might go back to, I think I'll grab that purple. So use my eyedropper and get that exact purple. And I think we're going to go ahead and make a pants purple. And I can go to my larger brush so it fills in a little bit faster. Oops, I went over there. That's okay. I'll fix it in a minute. There we go. I want to thank everybody for stopping by and just remind everybody the reason that I'm drawing online is just to show you how to use these different programs. If you follow me, if you like and subscribe, that'll help my channel, and I'd really appreciate that. I come on here, I do free lessons all the time. You can find lessons on my YouTube channel. And I do a lot of Adobe Fresco and a lot of Zoom art. Those are the two main things that I do. Why you didn't post these videos on your social media handle, I think that might help everyone to know about that. What's your thought about that? Because I saw this kind of video on the internet. Yeah, I have posted. So if you go over to Facebook, I can just go there really quick, I think, and so you can see what my channel looks like. Facebook. Hopefully it'll just take me and I don't have to sign in. So I've got a few different channels. So I have, this is my personal, and it's me. That's not me. This is me here. And let's see here, photos. If I can show you, I take a lot of pictures of trees and bushes, and I'm looking for a self-portrait here. Here's a self-portrait. I'm with my brother, niece, and my sister-in-law. That's me right there. And so that's one channel, and it's got horses on it. And then I have another channel that is, oops, come here. Oops. Is my art channel, M. Bates Art. And if I take you over there, it's got birds across the top, and it's got this little lady with a spider. And I will usually cross post, and I'll do my posts over here too. As you can see, I'm all about let's have some fun and draw together. That's what it's all about for me. I teach people how to animate very simple animations in Adobe Fresco. So let's get back to the drawing at hand. And again, there's that tool right there that I wanted to show you. The logo right there. That's what it looks like for infinite zoom art. And we'll go back into that drawing in just a second. See all my rings here? I decided to start wearing rings when I draw because it's just more interesting if you happen to see my hands, which you inevitably do when I'm drawing. I could go a little bit closer here. All right, so back we go to drawing. So I think that I want to pick up this blue color because they have sort of like this mane, instead of his hair being here, his mane, when I looked at different sculptures and drawings from the Tang Dynasty, they covered the mane for some reason. And so I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm on the right layer. I'm on the color layer. And I think I'm going to choose that same blue right there that's on the blanket. And I'm just going to start filling in the mane. Looks like I have a little bit of cleanup on the black layer I could do here. I'm going to go to a bigger brush and do it much quicker. I can always do a little cleanup around the edges with the eraser in a minute. I see a comment. Okay, I will, Global Career Quest. What are you called on LinkedIn so I know who it is? Okay, so we'll do a little bit of cleanup here. Don't forget to tell me who you are on LinkedIn so that I can accept your request. And I think I could use a little bit of blue right there. Oh, I wonder what layer that dot is on. See how that's not erasing? I've got my eraser, so let's see what layer is that dot on. It's way up here. Okay, let's get rid of that. And then let's go back to the layer that we want to work on right there. Okay, so I think that I want to next work on coloring in the mane, or I'm sorry, the saddle parts, and I'm going to use this brown here that I've already chosen for that. I'll go back to the big brush and hopefully it'll fit inside here. Yay, that was easy. Go to a smaller brush here. Oops, went a little wonky there. All right, so now I think I'm going to work on a few accents here. I think I'm going to add some gold. Actually, this should be silver because they probably would have used a silver metal. So let's redo that. I'm going to go to the bigger brush. I think they did use a lot of gold accents, but I'm going to guess they probably did not use gold or brass. Maybe they used brass as animal bridal parts. But likely they used silver. Okay, I think that, oh, I think we'll go ahead and make that a silver stirrup. It could be that it was leather. Either or. All right, so now I think that I want to make this a dappled horse. I really like dappled. I really like dappled horses. I have a horse. I'm a little bit of a horse nut. So I'm going to go ahead and get a nice strong gray and start. And the horse will have black accents, basically. I think I just saw your LinkedIn request come across. I'll be sure and answer it when I'm done here. Oh, thank you. You flatter me. There's some pretty good art on YouTube. There's a guy who does Celtic style art, and he does his by hand. It's ink and watercolor, and it's pretty amazing stuff. I'm in awe of that guy. I don't remember his name right offhand, but if you Google Celtic art and you see his work, you'll be like, oh yeah, she's right. That guy's good. Oh, this isn't right here. This should go over the top of that. So let's see here. How am I going to do that? I'm going to have to go. I have to go back out to the black layer here and redraw that part right there. We'll use black. And then go back to my color layer and add the brown. Oops, I did it again. It needs to go over the top of that. Oops, oops, oops. Get on the right layer, Maggie. to get on the black layer. There we go. There we go. That looks right. Now, go back here to the color layer. And I'll add my, there, that looks better, much better. I'm gonna add some tooling on here too. Actually, let me just fill this in. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. And okay. Color layer, here we are. So we're creating a nice dark gray horse. He's going to have, he's not going to have a totally black mane. Oh, might be kind of fun to give him a little bit more of a blonde mane. I've seen that. Do I want to do that? No, let's go with a dark gray, darker than but not black. So I'm going to go to my disc and I'm going to ask it to go darker on the gray, but not black. There we go. So we've got dark gray mane for forelock. We could add some highlights in here, actually. I think I'll do that just to make it more interesting. So on this, we'll just go ahead and add a really light, and I'm going to go to a this is kind of what I did on the hair of the woman. So a little bit of highlight. I got to turn this to get it the right angle. There. I'm going to choose that really dark gray again here in a big fat brush. I will leave a white area that'll look like a reflection in the horse's eye, and that's how we'll get into the next drawing. So I'm not just flattering you, honestly. I don't know much about internet art. I'm actually a developer. I just happened to come across your shorts live stream on YouTube. Oh, and that's exactly why you ended up here. Oh, fabulous. So you've subscribed. That's great. What kind of a developer are you? What do you develop? I wonder, it might be helpful to actually go one layer lower. If I were to do the horse here, I wouldn't, if I do that on the lower layer, I won't have to go around everything. I can just go like this behind everything. That's what I'm going to do. It's much faster. Full stack Python developer. Okay, I have no idea what that is, but I'm curious now. Is Python full stack, is it a game? Is it a video game? Oh, lots of people visited my LinkedIn all of a sudden. That's great. Thank you. Hello. We've got a new visitor. And I'm just the Kailani official. Nice to see you. Glad you joined us. I am drawing in my Infinite Zoom program. After I get the horse color blocked in, we'll go ahead and take a quick tour for anybody who's joined recently so that you can see what's going on. Whoops, go back to our thick brush. I'm just kind of laying down this color as quickly as I can because it's just the background for the horse. It's going to be a dapple gray horse. Hello. See how the line it covers more when I zoom out? That's the program adjusting my brush, which is kind of cool. A little unexpected. Doesn't happen in other programs I use. That automatic adjustment. But it works well, actually, for this. Now when I go in, I can get more details around the edges without going outside. Well, that's not true. I just did. Oh, well. So now I'm going to clean up a little bit. I've got the color blocked in. Okay. Okay, so I'll just give you a quick tour if you are new here to the Infinite Zoom program. And this is a global timeline of fashion. And as you can see, I just keep zooming out to new eras and cultures. Not all the drawings are finished. This project is, because I don't work on it all the time, I just work on it here and there. This project is probably going to take me months to finish. Okay, and so now we're back out to the Neolithic period. And I'm going to have a little sip of tea, and then I think I want to finish dappling the horse while folks are here. So I can go to my bookmarks and get there quicker. Do I have that one? No, but I have the Mayan, and my Tang Dynasty woman is right inside the Mayan culture. Okay, her skin is actually just this off-white. There is actually a color there, and I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but I'm going to go ahead and get on the right layer. Let me go back. Get on the right layer where I did her skin, and it was on this layer. And we'll get her foot too. Whoops. Okay, so what do I want to do next? Let's dapple the horse. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a light gray. Start with the biggest, whoops, I don't want to go that big. That's too big. I'm going to go with smaller up there. I see a comment. Python isn't a game, it's a programming language. Actually, I specialize in app and website development. And more recently, I've been working as an AI developer on some exciting AI-driven projects. Oh, cool. I was playing around with a program recently where you can build your own app What do you think about those? I think what it's doing is it's kind of like mining. I don't know what the name of the program is. I can't remember. Um, I wonder if it's. Wonder if it'll come to me. It's a DIY kind of an app. Oh, what layer am I on? Ooh, I didn't think about that. Oh, that's okay. That layer's okay. I just want to erase this right here. And then I want to go back to the layer where my dots are. Ooh, he looks like a polka dot horse. Kind of crazy looking. Well, that's okay. Okay, and then I'm going to go with some black marks. Actually go back here to my black layer and add a little bit more black accent. Oopsie. Go with a medium brush. I'm talking about a do-it-yourself app where you can build an app. Like I wanted to build a coloring app to put on my website. And it's, I wonder if it, I wonder if it'll pop up here, Canva. I don't remember the name of it. Let me see if it pops up here. Maybe at the end of my Opus. Was it Opus? No, it's not Opus. Premiere Rush. Was that it? Let's see. No, Premiere Rush is a editing program. So it's not it. Behance, also an editing program. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. Darn. Okay, how do I like that? I feel like I need some separation here. I need to be on the black layer. Okay, so now I can go back with my black. There. That looks better. And now I'm going to go in with my here and also do a little eraser. So there's a little separation between the legs. I don't know how I like the black here. Let me use my eraser. Whoops. I have to get on the right layer. So I have not tried Dolly or Runway ML. Do you like those programs? Okay, so now I think I'm going to do a similar thing here, just faster. Do a really small eraser right here. There. And yeah, I mean, AI is, I could try it and see how it is. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time doing AI because I like to draw myself. Um, AI is great for brainstorming and for a quick, a quick fix, but for actually creating meaningful art, it's like, you can have a conversation with AI, like I did here earlier, and it can give me some facts and figures, but it's basically just mirroring me. So it can verify things, but also it's just feeding back what it hears. It models itself. I asked it about this, and it literally models itself to sound like you, like whoever's feeding into it. So it's kind of like you're talking to yourself, you know? Um, but you have access to Google in a voice version. That's really how I use AI. I just am always keep it always in mind that you know, it is not to replace humans in my life. I'm gonna go with the very, very smallest and just create some. If you pick up a horse's foot or look closely at it, they have almost like growth rings and ridges and all right. So that's looking pretty good. Sorry for shaking the camera. Okay. I'm liking how he's looking. He's looking good. I still have to do her sleeves and finish out these back legs, which I might just go ahead and so shake the camera a little bit again. So my condo is it's on a wonderful trail. Like it's, multi-building condo, and it's old. It was built in like 1979, about the year I graduated high school. Can you believe that? I'm old. Anyway, this condo is old, but very charming. I don't think they could build it here now because it is so close to wetland areas that are around the lake. Um, these areas probably would be more protected now. And it's so charming. So I just walk out my door and I end up in a park. It's right there. I don't have to cross the street or anything. I'm right on the edge of a park. And the park, if I walk from end to end, it's like a 5 mile walk around it. And I just feel super fortunate that I found this place and was able. I actually tried to buy a condo here um, a, a couple times, and they would always get sort of snatched up by cash buyers. I didn't have enough cash to pay for it, so I had to have a loan. So you have to go through the qualify. I mean, I would pre-qualified and all that, but you have to go through, the bank has extra steps they require, and the buyers would always go with whoever had cash. And so I kept getting beat out, which was a real bummer. Okay, what layer am I on? Uh-oh, it's okay. I put it back there, but I now want to kind of fix this edge. It's a little thick. So now I'm going to go back to this is where layers get a little confusing, and that's, someone asked me if I was going to share this with the public, this file, which you can do. You can share your infinite zooms. You can send your file to someone and then they just go in and start drawing on your infinite zoom. And I want to when I decide to do that, um, I want it to be like super clean so that because people will mess it up. And I don't want them to start with it messed up. I want them to start with it clean. And so they have a better chance of having a good time. So now I'm going back and forth on these two layers, just cleaning up and making that look a little better. There we go. I'm liking that. So, oh, good night. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. You made it fun. You asked so many questions. You just made it so fun for me. So I appreciate that. His little nose needs to get bigger. That nose is too small. I'm going to go to my black layer here and redraw that. Just want to get it just right. Yes. Thank you. It was a really nice conversation. I'll find you over on LinkedIn too. Oops. Back. Love the back button. Okay. What happened there? Let me hit the back button. I think I just accidentally made a mark. Okay, this is looking pretty fun. Giving this person some pretty colorful clothes too. Let's add the details on the black hooves. Okay, now they all match. This tail probably needs a little bit of help. I think I'm going to go to the color underneath and go with that dark, go with a fatter brush. I feel like I could make this a little more beautiful. So I'm going to go to my black layer, go with a medium sized, whoopsie, brush. And just smooth out a little bit of these lines. I've tied my horse's tail in a knot like that. I noticed they had that happening on the online a lot when I'd look at images, which I thought was quite interesting. So I'm going to go, whoops, cancel, go back up to my dot layer. I'm going to choose the dot color, add a few dots here. There we go. Now I think what I want to do is just add some really subtle, so go here to this, that's the color. I want to go just ever so lighter. Let me find the slider. We'll just go up just a little bit, not a lot. Oops, that was too much. Go back there. Yeah, just a little bit, just to add a little bit of highlight. with a white here. And there. Could actually do a tiny bit of pink, just the lightest pink right here in the corners. Not that anybody's really going to notice that. I just do it because I love the details. Just love the details. I feel like his hoofs should be a darker. I may end up doing. I think it should be more of a charcoal. So I end up kind of coloring over my details there, but I didn't love those details, so it's okay. So just to give you a little perspective in a minute here, I'm going to zoom out on this drawing all the way out to the beginning. And I'm going to go a little bit slower. So if you've been with me the whole time, or if you just joined here, I've been on here for a couple hours drawing, just coloring in this one drawing. And so I'm feeling like I want to show you all of the parts of this drawing. And so you can kind of get an appreciation for how much work goes into an infinite zoom drawing. The black and white part is pretty quick. The coloring in part is really very time consuming. As you can see, I'm only partially done on this. And as we keep zooming out, this era is done because it was quite easy with the two colors, which is in the traditional Grecian vase style. And then this one is not finished, although I had a great time on her face and I really love it. Her hair and her embellishment, but I still have to do the whole background on this one. And then we move out to this one, the Minoan Bronze Age woman with a little birdie on her shoulder. And that one I'm probably not going to spend more time on. I think I've gone as far as I want with that one. And then lastly, this Neolithic, blue-eyed, dark-skinned European woman is the beginning. And I think with that, I am going to pause today, and I want to say to anybody who is on here right now, if you hit that subscribe button, not only does it help me and my channel, I'm trying to grow my users or my followers up to 1,000 at least, and I'm a small channel, and every single subscription helps me. It will also help you find me again. I'm Maggie Bates Art. That's my name, and that's what I do with all of my free time. And I basically come on here to just show people how to use these programs that I use, how to manipulate their digital into print. I've just started doing that. So if you want to find me again, please hit the subscribe button so that you can be in touch. Really appreciate you stopping by, and I want to say goodbye to everybody and thank you. Bye-bye.